This week on Hobbies, Crafts, and Collectibles, we'll be talking to Stephanie Gruner, who has an eye for her hobby. She collects Mr. Potato Heads. Is she half-baked? I'll let you decide. Then we'll be talking with Erin Blitz of Charleston. She's a fused glass artist. That's all next on Hobbies, Crafts, and Collectibles. Stephanie Gruner from Burlington, Illinois is joining us in the studio today with her fun collection. I'm really excited about this one. I played with Mr. Potato Head as a kid, and when I found out that there was a collector who attended school here, I knew we had to have her on the show. Stephanie, this is great. You have been collecting Mr. Potato Head not very long. I mean, you're a young woman. You're actually a grad student here at Eastern and studying speech communication.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Why Mr. Potato Head then?
It actually started when I was 17, and my best friend Olivia, she got me Spider Spud for my birthday when I was 17, and she just got him for me because I love Spider-Man. And then from there, I just loved the Spider-Man potato head so much that she and my brother especially started giving me more potato heads for like my birthdays and Christmas, and then it just grew from there.
I love it. See, I didn't even know they had themed Mr. Potato Heads.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I think I had when I was in, you know, in the early 70s, I had the Mr. and the Mrs., but that's as far as I knew. Yeah. They went, but come on, Spidey Spud, okay. Which is kind of fun, and I like, as you're getting these out and we're putting them, to, you know, on display, it was fun to hear some of the names. I think that's fun that they kind of have, some of them have pretty punny names,
yeah.
don't they? So we have Spidey Spud, he was the first one, and then the second one you got was this little guy, right? Okay.
Yes,
now, who gave you this one?
My brother for Halloween.
What's his name?
Trick or Tater.
Trick or Tater.
Yeah.
And all of these have, you know, just like the classic Mr. Potato Head, you know, you can remove the arms, the legs. Do they all come with interchangeable
Yes.
parts?
Most of them come with, like, they could probably change into a couple different identities if they wanted to. So.
Do you ever mix and match? Tell us the truth.
Well, I like to have them, I put them on display in my room, and I usually choose whatever identity I like best for each one. So like, I think this one could turn into a couple different like monsters, and Spidey Spud can become Peter Parker, but I put them in whatever outfit I like best. And
I see.
That way mostly.
Now you have quite the collection of these now. You started when you were 17, and so how many have you acquired?
I have about 37 that are like these kinds of shapes, and then I have 5 other ones that are like ornaments, or I have a big giant container that's shaped like a Mr. Potato Head, and you can put all of your extra pieces in it. So
oh, now that would be wild.
So all those together are, I believe I have 42.
Okay, so you have ornaments too, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Do they actually have interchangeable parts? The
No,
ornaments?
they don't. Not the ornaments that I have. Maybe they have other ones out there.
Gotcha. So tell us about some of these. I definitely, I know this is only just a fraction of what you have, but I want to talk about some of them. One of the ones that's really cracking me up is the Raiders of the Lost Ark one here. This guy actually has a unique feature. He plays music, right? So you can actually, here, let's see if we get a... So you push down on his hat, and it plays the theme from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, and I love that he has kind of a crooked smile too. Very fun.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things about them is that they have all these details. You know, like he's got his idol is a potato.
Yeah.
And like the Spider-Man has a web shooting out, and I just think like that's one of the coolest parts about them. So, and of course their names, which are all puns. Like
Absolutely.
This is Idaho Jones and the Taters of the Lost Ark.
That's a great name. I love it. He's so cool. And you even have a Yoda potato head. Now, what's his name?
Master Yoda.
Master Yoda. I just want to be the person who names them. You know what I mean? I want to sit in a room somewhere and say, hey, this would be a fun name. But he's adorable. Got his little lightsaber here. Very nice. Now, what do you know about, I mean, Mr. Potato Head has been around a long time. I mean, I'm old as the hills, and I played with him when I was a kid, but what year, I mean, what era do you think?
I believe that they started out as like actual potatoes that little kids would put parts in, and I think that was around the 50s. maybe.
So in the
I'm not
50s,
sure, though.
some creator actually just came out with the parts, and then what? They would go to mom's fridge and pull out a spud, and then that would be playtime. They would just make different characters out of them. But somebody probably got wise along the years, you know. There was a lack of potatoes in the pantry, and so so now before the potato was the actual face. Is that what you're saying? And now
it was actually, because they're called potato heads, and the potato was actually the head, and underneath would be like a body separate.
Oh, so they actually made a body that you attached the head to.
Yeah, and now they have like their potato is like the actual body, and then the pieces go in it.
Go into the potato. Gotcha. Which I love the shoes. I mean, that's one of my favorite parts. What's your favorite part of Mr. Potato?
I mean, I definitely the puns, but like talking about actual pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could even choose. I mean, I think the eyes are really cute. Like they have like a bunch of different eyes. Like
look at the monster guy.
Yeah, the monster has 5 eyes, and some of the girls have like eyelashes. So.
Right. Now, is this a specific character I don't recognize?
He's just like a monster, and his name is the Monster Mash.
Oh, this is Monster Mash. Gotcha. And he probably has a lot of different spooky parts that you can put on him, huh? Okay, now I can tell just by looking at your collection, you're a sports fan. Yeah. Don't hold this against Stephanie, but she's a Green Bay Packer fan. Where did you get this one at?
My boyfriend got it for me because he's a huge Green Bay Packers fan too.
I see.
Yes.
Well, it's good that you could, you know, with your boyfriend, you could marriage your two interests there.
Yeah, and
very fun.
Yeah, and his name is Cheese Potato Head. So
of course
play on
it is.
Cheese Head Potato Head.
That just makes sense. I love that. And now on the end, I recognize that guy just from the wings on his back, because my son used to have a Buzz Lightyear, so I recognize Buzz Lightyear for sure. But again, one of my favorites just among the ones that we have displayed is this guy, because I love Elvis. I mean, what's not to love about Elvis, right? What's his name?
Elvis Hot Potato Presley.
Elvis Hot Potato Presley. Love him. Now, does he have different suits you can put on him, or is he?
No, but they do make another Elvis that comes in like the black leather jacket. I don't have him though, so he's one that I need.
Nice. You hear that? That's one that she needs. Put that on your Christmas. You probably, on birthdays, Christmas, you have a built-in probably gift selection. People can say, hey, I'll just get her a potato, which can be good or bad. Now,
Mostly
how do you display all of these? I mean, you're a college student. You probably live in an apartment.
House. Yes.
House, okay. How do you display your 40-some Mr. Potato Head?
Well, I live with my sister and her boyfriend, so they make me keep them in my room, not like out in the living room or anything. But I have a big shelving unit, and it's black, and it's got like a bunch of different shelves, and it's kind of in the shape of a tower because it gets like skinnier as you go up. And so it's called the Tower of Tater. And
the Tower of Tater.
And I have like the shelves organized according to like different categories. So like there's one shelf of all like holiday themed potato heads. There's one with like epic movie characters like Spidey Spud and Idaho Jones. And then I have like the sports ones together, so.
Awesome. Now, when your friends come over, do you let them pick them up? Do you let them play with them?
They could pick them up, but I don't, they probably wouldn't want to play with them. Usually they just make fun of me for my collection. So.
Now, these all have fun names. Have they come up with a name for you, the Potato Head Collector?
Well, my friend Olivia, she also went to Disney World, and in Disney World they have kind of like Build-A-Bear where you can build your own potato head. So she built this potato head, and she made it into me into a potato head. So it's Potephany, the movie theater employee, because Olivia and I used to work at a movie theater together.
Oh, so my goodness.
That's me working at a movie theater.
Say the name again.
Potephany, the movie theater employee.
I love her. She's got her little popcorn here. Yeah. That's so cool that you can, there are some unique potato heads out there. If people can build their own and customize them. You've got your little mouse-shaped pretzel here too. Very cool. Now, probably my favorite name is this gal right here. What is her name?
Spadella DeVille. She's Cruella DeVille.
Yes, Spadella DeVille. Love her.
And I also built that one when I was in Disney World.
Oh, okay. So you can actually, from their different films, you can actually.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Yep. I love her. Very nice. Very cool. So is there one out there that you've seen that you're like, okay, that's one I have to have?
Yes, they have, some of them come in sets, and there's a set with the 4 members of KISS. And it just cracks me up, and I really want that one. So
that is cool.
Yeah, but I have a whole list of ones that I would like to get, like the characters from Wizard of Oz. There's a SpongeBob SquarePants one, and there's just so many. So
yeah, very fun. Well, I can imagine you don't foresee this stopping for a while. You've got a list that you're going to make. You're going to have to expand your tater tower. For sure. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for bringing in your collection. We really appreciate it, and I'll look forward to being updated later on some of the ones you acquire, for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joining me in the studio today is Erin Blitz of Charleston. Erin, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Well, as you can see, Erin is a beautiful artist. She has the unique talent to fuse glass into amazing creations, and I'm just so thrilled that you trusted us with all this breakable loveliness right here. But what a beautiful art. What got you into fusing glass?
Oh, well, it's a bit of a story. I actually have my master's degree in ceramics here from Eastern Illinois University.
Oh.
And when I finished, I had worked in very large, heavy pieces, and I needed back surgery.
Oh my.
So I took a few years of working in lighter weight materials, felting and batik. And then I had my kiln, my brand new kiln in the basement that I'd hardly used, and I started thinking, what am I going to do? You know, big bags of clay are really heavy.
Sure.
And I started melting bottles just for fun. Oh, look what will happen if I stick this in the kiln. And then after a while, I started breaking up bottles and trying to make some things, and then did a little more research and learned more about glass and the problems you have if you're just taking random bottles and putting them together, because the glass doesn't necessarily work well together. They break.
Oh, okay. Because probably different melting points.
Right. Well, it's a coefficient of expansion.
I see.
So yeah, there's this. They either contract or expand at different rates.
At different rates.
Yes.
Sure.
So then I found out, well, you know, they make glass for people like me that I can order in sheet form.
Nice.
And yes, and then start making things. And so basically, I'm self-taught. I did a lot of research, books, and internet, and talking to other people, and that's how I got started. And
well, that's fascinating. What you probably draw a lot from your ceramic background, though. From
yes, yeah, there are some similarities.
Okay.
Really, and I'm still using my ceramic kiln for the glass work. I've not gotten a glass kiln yet, so.
Oh, so there are special kilns that people can actually.
There are, and I think part of the fused glass medium has become much more popular because of the types of kilns. And when I bought my kiln about 10, 12 years ago, I went and spent the extra money to get the electronic thermostat, which I'd not used before, but I thought, hey, this is a new toy, I should get the best. Well, if I didn't have that electronic thermostat, I wouldn't be able to hold the temperatures that you need for glass firing.
I see.
And so I just sort of was lucky and was able to do that. And now there are lots of kilns out there with the electronic thermostats. And
so what is an average temperature you'd have to have your kiln at to get the effects you're getting?
Yeah, I fuse at about 1,500 degrees.
Ouch.
So, yeah.
Have you ever gotten burned?
No. I do cut myself a lot, though.
Gotcha. Because the piece is pretty much, it's cooled probably by the time you open.
I don't really do any manipulating in the kiln. And I have gloves and safety equipment, so yeah, I've been lucky so far.
Yeah, as with any hobby, safety is so important, isn't it? Well, let's talk about some of your work, because it's just beautiful. Now, I know this one came out of the kiln today, and this is stunning. And you say this is a pretty good example of your basic technique for fusing glass.
Yes, it started out with sheets of glass. This is a blue circle that I cut into a circle on the sheets of glass.
Okay, here's an example.
Or, you know, something like this, except much larger, obviously.
Sure.
And so I started with a blue circle. I cut a clear circle to put in the center.
Okay.
I like to have a couple layers in the bottom of a big bowl this size to have the right weight
Okay.
And then cut out different triangular shapes out of both the cobalt and then this iridescent lime green, and stacked them on top of each other very carefully and fired them in the kiln to 1500 degrees. And, then it melts and it's flat at that point. It's flat. It's flat like this.
Say, how do they stay on top of each other
right.
if it's in a curved shape?
No, well, see, it's also called fusing, and it's also kiln-formed glass. And the forming part happens in a next firing where you fire it only to about 1250 degrees.
So you're
and you do it over a
the
mold.
Design, but you change the shape.
Yes.
Ah, beautiful.
So yeah, so it requires at least 2 firings to do something like that.
So that looks anything but basic, but the technique you're saying is basic. And I was just telling her beforehand, how do you get things so precise? But she's like, no, just look close. It's not terribly precise, but it's a beautiful imprecision. It has this unique soft edge to it and rounded quality that's just lovely. Now, these 3 pieces I'll hold up. Talk about the stacking technique that happens.
Yeah, well, these are pieces with, I cut strips of glass about 3/8 of an inch thick and stack them side by side. And so, that's what all the side pieces are. And this is an alternating between a, well, it's a streaky glass. Well, here's the front of the streaky glass.
So with the original sheet had come like that?
Yes, looked like this.
Okay.
And then I alternated it with another streaky that was a white or a off-white.
I see. So you cut it into the design, and then again, this is probably...
Well, actually, I build with bricks and some high temperature fiber paper to keep it from touching the brick, because if it did, it would stick.
It would stick, sure.
Yes, and so I built that rectangular shape with the circles. I have a stainless steel circle, and then you put the side-by-side pieces of glass, and you just sort of build it in there, wedge them in nice and tight, and fire it. Then you need to fire it again afterwards because, well, I do anyway, because the edges are all very rough and hard, and it doesn't have this wonderful, shiny, glossy surface. Actually, to do it really nice, you can fire it upside down, and you get really sharp. If you'll notice, the back has a much sharper
it does, doesn't it?
Lines. And so sometimes I do it that way, sometimes I don't, sort of depends on what I'm looking for. But then you don't get the shiny surface, so you need to flip it again, fire it without the ring or the bricks.
I see.
And
well, I love
that
how
softens the edge.
From front to back.
Yeah.
How pretty. And then this one is really fascinating too. It's just 2 colors. Look at the design in this. Do you usually sketch out on paper what design you're wanting to do ahead of time, or are you one of those artists that just sits down and makes it happen?
I do a little bit of both.
Gotcha.
That's one of those things I could draw as accurate as I could draw it out. When you're actually cutting the glass, it would never. But well, I try. But
sure.
So you sort of start out with the drawing and some measurements, and then you start building and expanding on that. So.
Okay, and I don't want to run out of time. I want to get to a couple of these. These are fascinating techniques. Well, first of all, this is kind of a newer technique you've used on a couple of pieces.
This is
back on our shelf, and then right here. What is this technique?
This is a pot melt. This is before anything's been done with it. What I've done is over the last few years, I've gotten lots of scraps. And I can take scraps and you put them in a ceramic pot. It could be something like a flower pot, or any kind of ceramic unglazed pot that has holes in the bottom, and you fill it with glass pieces, and I weigh them so I know exactly how much. That's 2.5 pounds of glass.
I see.
And then I fire it up to 1700 degrees, and it drips out. It pours out of the bottom, and makes this swirly design, and then you have that piece that then you can cut up and use for other pieces. I do that. I make jewelry out of that. This piece right here, this piece up here is also...
I'm going to grab this one just so I can get it for this camera to see. But look at the blues and greens in this one. It's just stunning. Love it. And then now a couple other pieces you've had. I know this particular piece over here, the green bowl we're going to look at next, it's been to Texas and back, hasn't it?
It has. It has. It was in a show down in Denton, Texas.
This is lovely. Now, what's fascinating to me, I thought, well, she's probably used a couple different kinds of glass here, and she's molded. No, it's much more complicated than all that. Every little bubble here that you see, you've handmade.
Well, I captured. I was very lucky to capture them. Yes, I used small, thin rods of glass and stacked them in a grid.
Okay.
Then put a clear piece over it. and fired it, and I was lucky enough to catch the bubbles exactly where I needed them to be.
Oh, this is so pretty. And again, in the form. Now, some of your molds you use, you hand
right.
make.
Well,
like
that's where my ceramic background really helps, because I can hand make many of my molds.
Out
and
of clay, right?
This is an example of one of my handmade molds.
Sure. So she's made this out of clay, which is fascinating. And you can buy some molds, but I love that you've gone to the nth degree to make it very personal.
Prefer to do that when I get the time to do that. Yes.
And then lastly, I want to show this. This is another really interesting technique that you were explaining to me before about the stencils. Now you have some frit, is that right?
Yeah. Well, this is a larger frit. This is a chunkier frit. It comes in different levels, and this is coarse. I also have powdered version, and in this particular case, I use an iridescent glass, so it comes with the twinkle.
Beautiful.
But I cut out stencils and put them over the pieces. These are individually, each different colored iridescent glasses, and then different designs. And then I can sprinkle the powder over it and remove the stencil, and then fire it.
And then fire. Look at that effect. That's beautiful. And again, this was from a handmade mold that you did. And just the shape of it.
Got a nice little tag on the bottom. Yes.
This is just beautiful. What a focal point. I mean, and I know that you do sell some of your art, and some of it is available here on campus, even at the WEIU at the Tarbell Arts Center. We have a great art center here on campus, and I'm glad that they've been able to pick up your work. But just, you've given us, I wish we had time to show everything from the jewelry box to the clock. There's a lot of different things you can do with it besides even just, the piece of art. Very usable art, but it's just stunning.
And it's all food safe. I don't even purchase the glass that has lead in it, because I have to keep it separately. So
yeah. Now, what a way to eat spaghetti, huh? One of these bowls. Well, Erin, it's just beautiful. Thank you so much for, again, trusting us and bringing all this in. I know it wasn't easy, and we really appreciate you sharing a new form of art. Some of our viewers may be inspired to take that up themselves. So.
I hope so.
All right. Well, thanks, Erin.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Ever since I started hosting this show, I get asked a lot, so do you collect anything? Well, on today's show and tell, I thought I might just bring my own collection to you. This is actually a collection that started several years ago. I found a cute little flower pen at a garage sale and thought it would make a cute addition to a project that I was doing. And I was just hooked. Now, these floral pens, you might have remembered maybe the door-to-door cosmetic salesman. This is what I remember from my early childhood in the 70s, that she always had perfumes and makeup, but then she had jewelry. And I can remember a lot of these flower power pens, if you will, from the 60s and 70s during that time. And I think that's probably why I'm attracted to them. But I love color, and who doesn't love flowers? So this is a great collection if you're into those things. They're actually enameled metal. And what basically that means is that they are enameled paint. They kind of have a really cool smooth feel to them, and they're made of metal, so they're very durable. But one of the problems with the pens I noticed is if I kept them in a drawer, no matter how hard I tried, usually they would bump into each other, and you don't want to lose that enamel paint. So one great way, I think, to collect jewelry and to display it and enjoy it and not have it bumping around in a drawer somewhere is to take one of these old dress forms. Now this one's a tabletop model. You know, the old clothiers, the dressmakers, they would actually have sometimes full-length body forms, and you can see those today, but I like the old ones. This is actually made out of a paper mache, which was common, and covered with this old brown fabric. So what I did, one of my favorite colors is bluish green. I took an old sweater and I basically covered it on the dress form, and then I'll show you my little secret. See, I like anything that you can do quickly and then you can redo it, because I get bored really easily. But I just took a big hair clip and I pulled the arms back and cinched up the sweater so that it fit my dress form nicely. And the great thing about sweaters is it has a nice thickness for these pins. And if you have brooches or even hair clips or necklaces, these dress forms are a great way to display your jewelry. So I did her up right. Now you'll often see me running around town with a hat, and I'm always pinning my enamel pins. I wear these. I mean, I wear them a lot. So I like that they're right there. I can see them, I can enjoy them, but then they're really easy to get to. In fact, one of the cool things about this situation is I don't have to open a drawer and thumb through it and look for it. I can see it, and you don't even have to clasp them. You know, with these pins, you can just set them top to bottom, and you can just pin them on and take them off whenever you want. So it actually makes a really neat display. And like I said, for holidays, I've got one for every holiday. My husband recently got me this one. So I have a poinsettia for Christmas. I have a leaf for fall. You can really do it up all year long, and you can change out your dress form. I could put an ugly Christmas sweater on her if I wanted to at Christmas time. But anything to just kind of see her over in the corner on top of the dresser and give me a smile when I get up in the morning, then I think it's awesome. So maybe you have a collection or a neat way of displaying it. If you would like, I would love to hear from you and share it with our audience. I hope you enjoyed it.